Hey everyone, Oneplus used to be known as the flagship killer brand, but over the years, this has changed. Their phones now have more features, better cameras, and higher price tags. There's also a pro version of their phones for those that want the full flagship experience, and a regular non-pro version for everybody else. I picked up the regular OnePlus 8 in order to see what you're really getting for the money, and if you're going to have to make any sacrifices if you choose it over the Pro. I'm Angie for GSM Arena, and this is my long-term review of the OnePlus 8. Now, straight off the bat, this OnePlus phone continues the legacy of the past couple of generations. It's elegant, useful, and not too flashy. Once you take it out of the box, you'll spend the first couple of minutes admiring the pretty gradient on the back. Then you'll realize that this is an incredibly slippery phone. Despite the nice texture, the matte back has almost no friction, and even with the Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and back, it doesn't feel safe to use it without a case when you're on the balcony. There's also no official IP protection on this vanilla OnePlus 8, so while it'll likely be fine, I don't recommend using it next to large bodies of water. That's actually a point for getting the Pro version, because you will be getting that peace of mind. There's a see-through case in the box with the Never Settle logo on the back, or you can get one of their other options. OnePlus's super sturdy teal case has ridges on the side for a better grip, but you don't get to enjoy the phone's gradient while you're using it. In this case, better safe than sorry, and besides, it's still a nice color. With that out of the way, the OnePlus 8 is easy to use one-handed. It's comfortable, the phone's navigation is well done, it's not too heavy, and when it comes to unlocking the phone, there's a fast and accurate optical fingerprint reader. The only times I've had any issues with it were when I was in extremely bright environments. Unlike last year, there's now a hole punch. This was the first time I've used a phone with one on a regular basis, and to my surprise, I almost never noticed it. At first, I assumed it's because my brain simply ignores its existence. But then I realized that it's also because most content doesn't actually stretch that far on the screen, so it usually doesn't cut into anything important. This design choice allows a phone to be lighter than the OnePlus 7T, while at the same time requiring fewer moving components, which generally make phones more fragile. The 6.5-inch display is a gorgeous one too. Colors and brightness are great, and I haven't had any issues using it outside. The auto brightness is less intuitive, but it usually didn't make any errors. There's no true tone adjustment like on the Pro version, however. Despite all of the marketing about the 90 Hz refresh rate, the truth is the novelty quickly wears off, and there are very few games that take advantage of it. However, this display, combined with the flagship chipset, makes the OnePlus 8 feel lightning fast, and once you get used to this speed, switching over to anything else feels sluggish. As far as audio goes, it gets loud enough, and the sound is good for a smartphone. I usually connect to a Bluetooth speaker and headphones though, so the Bluetooth connection often ends up being more important for me. Unlike the OnePlus 7T and other phones I've used in the past, I had practically no Bluetooth issues on this phone, and this isn't something that I get to say as often as I'd like. Instead, the OnePlus 8 is missing something else in another department. And no, I'm not talking about wireless charging, which frankly, I did not miss at all. The battery life is great, the charging is even better, but I would often find myself with the phone close to 0%. It would usually neglect to inform me that it was nearing 15% or below, so I'd use it normally until all of a sudden it would simply turn off. Since I've been at home for the most part, like everybody else, this hasn't been that much of an issue, but I can see it turning into one if you lead a very active lifestyle. Thankfully, this is a software bug, so hopefully OnePlus addresses it with their next update. While they're at it, there's another strange bug that they should fix. Often, I would be in the middle of a call and the phone would just hang up. At first, it seemed like a fluke, but then it happened in the middle of more than one conversation with more than one person, and even one on loudspeakers, so it must be some issue with the phone. Aside from those two bugs, Oxygen OS is one of the sleekest you can find on Android. It's clean, allows you to customize it if you wish, and setup doesn't take very long. Nothing stands out as being annoying enough for you to want to change it and waste your time digging through the Play Store for third-party apps. Like I said earlier, it's also really fast. Like I said, this phone seems to work for you rather than against you. But what about the camera? There's a solid OIS system, which I've found to be one of the most important parts of a camera setup in the real world. If a setup focuses well, it's usually more forgiving and allows you to take more pictures faster. That said, while the OnePlus 8 has a good camera setup, it's missing quite a few things in comparison to the Pro version, and is even missing a telephoto camera, which the OnePlus 7T did have. I understand that OnePlus wanted to differentiate the Pro and regular version this year, but to do this by downgrading a feature doesn't seem to be the best way to go about it. HDR was quite good, but in Twilight it was often important to lock the exposure on the subject of your choice because it tended to favor the sky. In general, there are quite a few phones at this price point which deliver similar, if not better, photo quality. And therein lies the rub with this phone in general. If you're looking for a super good phone, don't care about the camera, and want the latest chipset, this is one of the best options you will find. If you don't care that much about the chipset, then last year's OnePlus 7T and OnePlus 7T Pro are actually great options, and you won't notice that much of a slowdown in terms of real-world usage. If cameras are your priority, then it makes more sense to look at the Pro version of this phone or a Samsung Galaxy S20 device because those tend to have more powerful cameras. The thing is, if you're looking for a 2020 flagship at this price, then there's actually a lot of good options for you to consider. While I love the OnePlus 8 and definitely recommend it, its price isn't low enough that you should go out and buy it without looking at some of the competition first. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button down below, subscribe, hit the bell icon, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.